Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and today I've got my Game Week 23 team selection for you guys. Another double game week on the horizon between Man City and Arsenal, so we could have a potential of 6 doublers in our teams. You have to stick about to see how many doublers I've got in my team. But before we get into the double game week 23, let's have a look at how I did in double game week 22. So here is the team for 22, and it was another 80-pointer. Really nice. 83 points, another green arrow. Really nice to see there. A green arrow from 1.3 million to about 1.5 million, closing in on that top 1 million. My aim was to get to the top 1 million by the end of game week 23, and I'm really on track for that, which is really good. I was momentarily inside the top 1 million at the end of, I think it was Saturday's games, but then Haaland and all those Man City and Spurs players played, and yeah, it sort of set me back a little bit, and the Leeds players too, and we'll get on to the Spurs players in a little bit. But yeah, 83 points, a solid return. Pope and Trippier finally doubling up on the Newcastle defence, and what do you know, they concede. They concede, despite keeping, 7 clean sheets in a row? Yeah, they concede. And yeah, that was a big bummer. I just tried to get clever, doubling up on the Newcastle defence, seeing that, you know, because Trippier is so highly owned, because he's basically owned by everyone, to gain anything from a Newcastle clean sheet, you have to have another one. So I went for Pope, thought he'd be the highest scoring goalkeeper in the game. And yeah, he conceded. And Kepa got a 10-pointer, who I had previously. So yeah, not a great start to the wild card there. But so Shaw in the team getting 6 points, an all right return. Again, I'd be happy with 6 points in a single game week. So I'm pretty happy with Shaw's 6-pointer there. But neither clean sheet in Leeds or Newcastle, Leeds or Crystal Palace is a bit of a shock for that Man United defence. It's been so strong this season. And Struijk, yeah, probably my flop of the double game week. I had a spare spot to get a defender in, a 4.5 million-ish defender. So I went for Struijk. He had a double game week. In the first game, I think he got taken off early as well. He got a yellow card. He got a yellow card, so we got 1 point. And then the second game, he got concussed and went off early. Anyway, and Leeds looked like they might have kept a clean sheet. So I think if Leeds did keep a clean sheet and Struijk went off, yeah, I would have been in tears. So yeah, pretty poor performance there. And to make matters worse, Tarkowski and Ben Mee, who were 2 defenders I did consider, got massive scores. I would have never played Tarkowski if I'd picked him, and Ben Mee, Ben Mee blanks in a couple game weeks, so I wasn't going to pick him either, but they were definitely among considerations, and yeah, really painful to see them return, and Struijk only get 2 points, not even 4, which is what we normally expect from a double game week player. Captain Rashford coming in clutch there with the 40-pointer. Really nice for the team. I still have my triple captain chip, but obviously I wildcarded last week, so I couldn't use a triple captain. I think I would have used it if I could. So yeah, I doubt I'm going to get more than 20 points from my triple captain eventually, but at least I got the captaincy points from Rashford. And I captained Rashford in the previous double game week, so I've made, I think, 64 points from those 2 moves, which is actually the same as people who used their triple captain on Haaland in the previous double game week and captained Rashford this game week. So I've actually equaled that, and I've still got the triple captain to play, but obviously the people who triple captained Rashford have done considerably better. So well done if you played it then. Fernandes getting a huge score of 12 as well. Really unlucky to not get any returns in the Leeds game. He was all over in terms of the shots and assists that he could have got. But yeah, nothing there. But I think it was a 10-pointer in the previous game was enough to give him a very nice score of 12. Mitoma as well, the only other player who wasn't a Man United player to return in my team. Oh my goodness, so fortunate that he got a last-second goal to go all the way from 3 points to 11. A massive haul there from the Japanese national Yeah, what an impressive player he is. Very happy to keep him in the team. Pretty happy to keep him for the blank as well. I think I'll bench him with the likes of Trippier and Rashford for that blank game week, which means that the other two, Shaw and Fernandes, will have to make their way out of the team, and I'll obviously bench Pope as well for Danny Ward. And then we come on to the triple of Arsenal attack. And yeah, this was the start of the game week, and I got off to a terrible start. I took out Kepa, he got a 10-pointer, and then all three of the Arsenal attackers blanked. Absolutely terrible. We all knew that Sean Dyche would come in and defensively solid, make Everton a lot more defensively solid. But I don't think we expected it to be this sudden, managing to completely shut out the Arsenal attack. I mainly got them for the double game week anyway, but a return from any of them in that game would have been nice, considering how owning all three of them is certainly a massive differential. Ødegaard, I think, is the only one that's very highly owned out of the three. But, I mean, Arsenal were terrible in that game anyway. Most of us have a triple up in Arsenal. It's whatever, but yeah, pretty devastating there. As soon as I triple up on Arsenal attack and I double up on Newcastle defence concede, and Arsenal blank. Absolutely incredible there. Just describes how my luck has been this season. And Haaland there as well, getting 2 points, which was so painful because Kane is right there on the bench with 8 points. I was actually thinking of benching Haaland over Kane. To be honest, I should have benched any of the Arsenal attackers. The problem is I didn't know which one wouldn't, who would score, who wouldn't score, and I didn't want to bench one in case they returned. But yeah, it just looks silly when you look at it now, with Kane getting an 8-pointer. Even if it was against Man City, I mean, they played incredibly well, didn't they, Spurs? Managed to shut out Man City, and yeah, obviously Kane is the one scoring. I've learned from my mistake. I will never be benching Kane again after this game week. He's returned against Man City. He can return against anyone. But yeah, it was a up and down game week. I'm surprised that the green arrow is so massive, a 250k green arrow, considering how not many of my players returned, and the ones who did return are quite highly owned. I think I must have overtaken a lot of inactive players or people who just didn't go as heavy on the Man United assets. I know that quite a few people went for Casemiro over Fernandes. That was a really painful 50-50. Very unfortunate for you there. Obviously debatable whether the red card was a red card anyway. But yeah, it was a pretty good game week. The green arrow speaks for itself. Really nice. The people ahead of me sort of got further ahead of me, but I also overtook a lot of people. That's how I described the game week. But yeah, it was an all right game week, and we're now looking forward to Game Week 23. So this is the team for Game Week 23, and as you can see here, I currently have 5 players doubling out of a maximum of 6. I have Ake, Haaland, Ødegaard, Saka and Nketiah. Now, again, I'm really not too hopeful on this triple up on the Arsenal attack, but I kind of have to commit to it now. I think I've got the best 3 Arsenal attackers. I think Martinelli is at such a massive rotation risk now. He got brought off in the 59th minute in the Everton game, so yeah, he's a huge rotation risk now. But honestly, home fixtures against City and Brentford, on paper, probably don't look that good. Brentford are a really strong defence this year, and the Arsenal attack didn't look very strong against Everton. Brentford could easily do something good against Arsenal, and Brentford have been known this season to do very well against the top teams. So I'm a little bit nervous, honestly, going into it with the triple Arsenal attack there, and and not having a defender as well. But I'm hoping for goals. In 2 games, I'm hoping all of them return somewhat. They all get at least 7 points. That's what I'm hoping for. And the 2 Man City players there, Ake and Haaland, again, people are saying Akanji is now the most nailed on City defender, which I'm absolutely crying about because, as you might have seen in my previous videos, I've been such a huge advocate for Akanji, and now I've swapped to Ake on the wild card. Yeah, I might be. Maybe Ake gets benched. I don't think he will. I think he looks pretty nailed on. I think he'll play like every 4 in 5. But yeah, there's certainly some doubt there for the Man City defenders, and I know a lot of people are completely steering clear of them. What's going to be interesting this week is transfers. Now, at the moment, it's really paining me to look and see Mitoma on the bench there. But look at the team. It's so strong how it is. having everyone has got a good fixture. I know there's a lot of away fixtures there, but Kane's got a good fixture against Leicester. Obviously, Man United have a good fixture against Leeds. Leeds conceded twice, and they could have conceded more against Man United. So my planned transfer was to do Fernandes to Mahrez for the double game week, but I'm really not too sure about that. I know Fernandes' return only came from a penalty, but he did put up some good stats in both of those games, and I feel like holding on to the transfer might be quite useful here. Looking at the bench as well, Bueno, he's not been playing a few games, has he? So he might be a bit of a rotation risk, which is annoying because I believe that there's now been an announcement for game week 25. I haven't really been checking the news around stuff, so I think there might be a double in 25. Which will include Wolves. So it'd be nice to have Bueno for that. But again, I really wish I just went for Kilman on the wild card. I could have just easily upgraded Bueno to Kilman and had someone completely nailed and then not had to worry about it. But yeah, certainly some better bench players I could have. I could have Kilman over Bueno, and I could have Tarkowski over Strauch now. For Everton's double, I think it is. I think it's Everton, Arsenal, and Wolves, Liverpool, I believe it is. And as a Liverpool fan, I will just say right now, I'm not looking at getting in any Liverpool players. Maybe one, just to, I had one for the Leeds double, maybe just one for the Liverpool double. But honestly, I'm really not looking at getting any of them at this current point in time. We really do not look like getting any better, genuinely. We're losing 3-0 comfortably day in, day out. The Wolves game that we lost 3-0 was generous. We should have lost that game a lot more than we did. So, yeah, I really don't have any hopes for any returns in the double game week. Maybe just the one, but Salah's far too expensive. Nunez is far too inconsistent. Gakpo's not really been firing. Maybe you could get someone cheap in midfield, but again, there's so many good options in midfield at the moment. I just don't see who you go for. Genuinely, I might not have a single Liverpool asset for that double, and they're not easy games either for Liverpool. But yeah, so this is the team on paper. I'm really hoping that Newcastle keep a clean sheet. It's Bournemouth away. I'm praying that this is the one that they keep a clean sheet in, just so I can actually enjoy having Trippier's clean sheet, because obviously everyone owns him, but you gain more if you have another Newcastle defender, and they've been so good all season. So yeah, let me know what you guys think I should do here, because I do want to get a third Man City asset in to have 6 doublers, but I really don't know who to get. I know the obvious move would be to do Fernandes to Mahrez. I know a lot of people getting De Bruyne. Again, he was benched against Spurs. We think that's a tactical thing, but it's just a bit nervy, to be honest. And De Bruyne hasn't really been getting any more than, say, 5 points each week at the moment. He's been getting an assist every so often, but he's really not getting the returns of an expensive asset. And I think Fernandes could actually outscore some of the doublers. So I don't really see any desperate need to get rid of Fernandes this week. So I might just roll the transfer. I really don't know what to do, and I don't want to bench Mitoma either. I did think about maybe a bench boost, but I know there's going to be a huge double game week in the future, which I want a whole bench of doublers for. So I don't think that's a good idea. And again, do I use the triple captain on Haaland? I was thinking about it, definitely thinking about it. But now there's been more doubles announced for Arsenal. I'm thinking about that. I definitely won't be triple captaining an Arsenal asset this game week. I'll be captaining Haaland. I'm like 80% on that. But then the triple captain, there's so many decisions for me to make this week. Do I triple captain Haaland? Do I get in Mahrez? Do I go for another City asset at all? Do I seriously bench Mitoma? That's a nice fixture against Crystal Palace, and he could so easily punish me. But I think you look at those 8 attackers on paper, and I think you would say Mitoma is the worst out of the 8, which is really painful. There's no way I'm benching Kane. I would be silly to bench one of the doublers. It's only really Fernandes, who I'd be, if I didn't want to play Fernandes, I would just switch him to a double game weeker anyway. So I think I'm going to actually have to bench Mitoma, which is really painful. Or I bench Fernandes and roll the transfer. That's also another thing I could do. And another idea I had was to transfer out Shaw, because obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I need to get rid of Shaw and Fernandes because I have 6 blankers at the moment and I can cover for 4 of them. So I need to transfer Shaw and Fernandes out at some point. I could transfer Shaw to Akanji. I could just go back to Akanji and have double City defence. And then I still have Fernandes. I still bank on Fernandes doing well. And I have the 6 doublers for the double game week. There is so many things to do, and I'm quite stuck on this one. So I'd love to hear your guys' advice on what you think I should do. I can't get in De Bruyne because I don't have the funds. I would have to do 2 transfers to do that and really ruin the team. So De Bruyne is just a complete no-go for my team. Who would you bring in? What's the one transfer? I want you to let me know that in the comments. What's the one transfer? And should I be using the triple captain on Haaland this week? I know that the Arsenal double looks pretty good on paper coming up. But again, I've just been a bit uninspired by their attack, by that Everton game. They really showed how, Everton really showed how you can stop this Arsenal attack. So there's certainly a lot to think about here. I really don't know what to do this week. But at the moment, my mind is on triple captaining Haaland and doing the swap Fernandes to Mahrez. That's where my head is at the moment. But I've listed about 3 or 4 things I could do. And I really do not like benching Mitoma. But I don't know what I'd do to get him in, honestly, unless I bench boosted, which I want to save for later because Mitoma will probably double in that and he'll be on my bench. So yeah, I definitely want to do that. The other issue I have, by the way, just whilst I'm on it, is I'm probably going to have to bench Mitoma the next game week for 24. Obviously I bench him in 25, but I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I'll have to bench him for 24 as well. This is an advantage of having a player like a Greenwood in your team who can just sit on the bench for every single game, and you have your set 7 attackers. You never have to worry about this benching headache. Because at the moment, Mitoma is on. That was something I forgot to mention as well. I was doing this 50-50 in the previous team selection about either Mitoma or Nonto who would score more. They scored exactly the same. They both scored 11. The right thing to do was actually to pick both players, funnily enough. But yeah, do I seriously bench Mitoma, and do I then bench him for the next game week as well? That's going to be horrible if that's the case. I could genuinely just bench Fernandes. But then again, I'm benching a penalty taker for Man United who are in excellent form against Leeds. So that's silly as well. I don't think there's a win here. The only other thing I could potentially do is transfer out one of the Arsenal attackers for any midfielder and then just get an Arsenal defender. So then I can play Mitoma. And then bench whoever I bring in, but that seems like it's a -4 to play Mitoma and get rid of a doubling Arsenal attacker. So again, that's a bit of a more not really as thoughtful one. But there is so much I could do with this team, and as you can tell, I am not set on any of this. So I'll let you know what I do in my on my Twitter for the game week deadline. But yeah, really stuck on this one. Let's have a look at who did the best in the mini league this week. So the top score in the mini league this week was a massive 113 points, an absolutely insane score here from D1 After Dark L, or Salt and Pepe is the name of the team. An absolutely incredible set of players here. So used the triple captain on Rashford, which equated for nearly over half the points in the team. 60 points there. Mitoma and Fernandes as well. Blanks from the rest of the attackers, which is a bit of a shame. But look at that Ben Mee selection. What a pick there for the defensive spot. A lot of people steering clear of him because of the blanks, me included, and egg on our faces, to be honest. Ben Mee has been excellent this season. He's been one of the best defensive assets in the game. Really been overlooked. Really wish I'd got him in earlier, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely amazing there for Ben Mee, getting the 13-pointer, clean sheet and a goal for Brentford. But yeah, that's all. To be honest, I mean, look at this team in comparison to mine. This team has got 30 more points than me, and that is purely because of Ben Mee and the triple captain on Rashford. That is the only difference, and yet 30 more points. Really swings and roundabouts this season. And yeah, he made 2 transfers, 2 excellent transfers, by the way. He took out De Bruyne for Fernandes, which was a very, very good immediate gain there. And he took out Almiron to bring in Mitoma. So he brought in 23 points. and he took out, I think De Bruyne got 1, didn't he? He brought in 23 points and took out 3, I think it was. So a 20-point game for your transfers. Absolutely amazing work there for the Salt and Pepe team. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you made it this far. Thank you very much as well for 100 subscribers and for 500 followers on Twitter. I hit both milestones in the space of this week, which I've only just checked. So thank you very much for all the support. It really means a lot to me. It's been really enjoyable doing this as almost a bit of a hobby besides my current studying at the moment. It's been really fun. And yeah, let me know how you guys did in the previous game week, how your team is lining up, which triple do you think is the best from Man City and Arsenal for double game week 23. And I'll see you in the next FPL video.